Say hi, Harvey.
Oh. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with Daryl. Do you want to introduce yourself?
And Harvey.
And Harvey the dog.
And Harvey.
The dog, yeah.
Harvey is the most important person here.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm Daryl. I am, as you can probably tell by my accent, I am from Yorkshire. However, I have been over in Australia for the last 10 years.
10 years, wow.
Yeah, that's quite
That's a long time, yeah. I'm surprised you haven't got an Australian accent.
Yeah, I don't want an Australian accent, yeah.
Sticking to the Scarborough.
I want to be in Australia, but I want the Yorkshire accent.
The Yorkshire accent.
Yeah, and I've been over here 10 years and I've travelled like all around Australia. I've been very fortunate. I've also worked in like tourism over here. I've helped over like 20,000 backpackers go travelling all around like Australia, New Zealand, everywhere like on this side of the world. And a couple of years ago we set up a travel company called Welcome to Travel, which is the tour which you've been on this week.
So I feel like you're a pretty good person to have in this video to talk through some stuff about Australia, because I've been here for 1 week, you've been here for 10 years. You definitely know your stuff better than me.
Yeah.
So I spent the last, wow.
It's okay, get it out.
I spent the last 7 days, is it 8 days? 7 days. Doing their tour, Welcome to Travel in Melbourne, and also like Phillip Island, having a little bit of an excursion and seeing the city in the best way, because we've got to make friends, we've got to be here in like a group, which is exactly what I wanted when I came to Australia. I wanted to start off feeling super welcomed and super like organised, because I do feel like a trip like this can be really, really daunting. So we thought in this video we would cover 2 main questions that I got and get all the time when I said that I was coming to Australia, when I'm posting on my Instagram that I'm out here in Australia. People have the same questions and I feel like you're definitely a good person to help me answer them.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. And Harvey.
And Harvey.
Like he really wants to get down.
Yeah. No.
He's thinking about it?
Go on, he's doing it?
Yeah, there we go. So obviously I'm out here in Australia by myself, which was a huge decision and one that I actually did think about for a long time. But the question I get most about that was like, how do you know what the best route is to do when you're alone? How do you know what the safest route is to do when you're a solo backpacker or a solo traveller? And honestly, I didn't really know either. Like I did a lot of research and I had a lot of help.
So I'm very fortunate I've been in your position as well, because I came over as, well, not as a solo traveller, but with Adam, the guy who also Welcome to Travel with.
As if you both just stayed here.
That's
crazy.
So we're friends from back home in Scarborough. I don't know how many times I'm going to say Scarborough in this video, but it's going to be a lot.
Basically, yeah,
and so we came here after university, and again, we didn't know where to go, what to do, but fortunately, having been here for so long, we now know. So we actually first landed in Perth, which is in West Australia.
Not many people start on the west coast.
No, reason being is like we went to like South Africa first, and then went to Thailand, and then we just wanted to be in Australia. So that was a really great place for us to start then, because we just needed to get some farm work done. If you're landing in West Australia, it's really good to get your like regional work done. This is if you're on a working holiday visa and you're wanting to get a 2nd-year visa.
Yeah.
You need to do 88 days worth of regional work.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like over in West Australia, there's quite a few options, like especially in the southwest, so like Margaret River and Busselton area. And so that's what we did. The downside to that, it is very isolated. It's the most isolated city in the world.
Really?
Yeah, in comparison to like other cities. It is closer for you to fly to Singapore from Perth than it is to Sydney.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. To be fair, I thought that when I was flying over, the pilot was like, oh, we're now over like Perth. And I was like, oh, we're nearly there. And there were like 3 hours left to go, and I was like,
yeah, it's weird. It's like when you like fly home and you're like, and you've been like flying for about 5 hours and you go, and we're still over Australia.
Yeah, it's so big, guys. Like it's such a big country.
Perth isn't, I would say, is an okay option if you want to go straight into your farm work, but it's going to be a little, like not many people start there, and it's harder to make friends.
Plus I think then maybe your experience of Australia will be like slightly different, because your starting point will be like less of what like you think of Australia as. Obviously it depends if you want to go straight into farm work, but like I would say if I did that and that was my first experience, I would probably then be a little bit, not put off, but like don't know what to expect from the other coast, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
especially if you're solo traveling. It'll be, it's so, like, as I said, it's on the other side of Australia.
It's so far away.
Another major city which you can fly into is Darwin. Now, Darwin is a good place if you are maybe going to Thailand first and then to Bali, and then you want like a cheap flight over. And so it is quite a cheap route if you are wanting to do like Southeast Asian and Indonesian and coming in.
Yeah.
Again, it's kind of similar to Perth in a way. It is very like separated, like from like
Where
what.
is it?
So Darwin is like in the Northern Territory.
Right.
Darwin has 2 seasons. So here in Melbourne we have like 4 seasons
in one day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In one day. That's proper Yorkshire.
That's not really
4 seasons in one day, love.
No.
But here in the Northern Territory you have just 2 seasons, wet and dry season.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
When it is wet season, it just like buckets it down all day, and when it's dry, it's like very humid as well. Coming like from Europe, it is very like different, like very different climate.
Yeah, see, I haven't experienced that yet at all. Like the climate here feels exactly like being in Europe so far. Like
your hair goes like Monica from Friends.
Yeah, I am always Monica from Friends. The amount of times people are like, "You look like Monica from Friends." I'm like, yeah, I know, I get that a lot.
Again, I would say it is an okay option, but not the best. Like it is quite a social place, but again, not many people start there.
Yeah.
And you want a good like starting point, especially when you're going like traveling. Adelaide, I'll go down to Adelaide as well. Not many international flights. I really like Adelaide. It's a mini Melbourne.
That's the only place in all of Australia where I know people, so I really nearly started there. But then I thought, I haven't seen anybody else go there and don't know what's there, so I'll just start in Melbourne instead.
A lot of churches, a lot of churches. But with Adelaide, there's not too many international flights, so you don't get many like first-time travellers there. Like they may have travelled all around and they may go to Adelaide for like a few days. But nobody really like starts there. So like per se, we'll go like to the top of like Queensland, which has got like another international airport, and that is Cairns. Cairns is amazing. It's like a backpacker hub. Okay, you've got everything that you think of when you're in Australia there. You've got like a Great Barrier Reef, you've got the world's oldest living rainforest.
I'm so excited.
You can go skydiving, you can go whitewater rafting, you can go bungee jumping. Are you going bungee jumping?
No, I'm not. I physically can't. I thought about it yesterday. I thought, do I want to do a skydive? Who am I? Definitely not. And then I thought, do I want to do a bungee jump? And then I thought, again, no. I would love to, I'm just too scared of heights. I would whitewater raft, but I don't want to do anything that involves anything from height. Sorry.
I'm very disappointed.
I know. Yeah.
With Cairns as well, it is great because it is at the top of the East Coast.
Yeah.
So, like when you're thinking of going travelling, like the East Coast is the most popular destination to go travelling, like for your first time, and it's one of the most popular like travel routes in the world.
I would say that was why I didn't mind doing this solo to start with, because I felt like of all the routes to do in all the countries, I feel like the East Coast of Australia is probably one of the safest and one of the most common. Like I feel like so many people have done this route.
Yeah, it's very much beaten down path, and it's like in a first world country, everyone speaks English. It's just like being in England but with nicer weather.
That's so true, although so far I'm yet to experience nicer weather. It's been rainy the whole time, but
it's like an upgrade on back home.
Yeah.
I would say it's a really good like starting point, like quite a few people flying there. Not too many flight routes, so it's like a little bit expensive to like land there. But it has like got so many different options, and if you want to like travel down like the East Coast, you start from Cairns and you come all the way like down to Melbourne, for example. So I would say Cairns is a really good option, but it is a little bit different. It is a little bit different compared to Europe, and if it's your first place, it might be a little bit overwhelming. Because you're in the tropics.
Yeah, that's true.
Another destination which you can go into is Brisbane. And Brisbane is all the possibilities to being like the best city in the world, because the climate is amazing, like it's very up and coming. They've got like this little lagoon right by the side of a river. There's like good work aspects, but it just kind of misses the mark on a little something. I don't know what it is.
All the people of Brisbane are going to be like,
people think I've got like this hatred against Brisbane. I like it, but it's just I want you to give us something more. And like hopefully like from Melbourne you would have seen like it's quite quirky.
It's very quirky. I really like Melbourne. Like, I really like it.
And like when you go to Sydney, you'll see how iconic it is.
I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah, and then when you go to Brisbane, you're like, oh, it's nice.
But it's nothing like the other two.
When you go to Scarborough and you go to the Harbour Bar, you want an ice cream with all the sprinkles, all the flavours.
Yeah.
You don't just want a vanilla.
Yeah, that's true. Is it a bit vanilla? I'll leave it up to me to decide.
Yeah.
Maybe when I'm in Brisbane, those folks from Brisbane, they're coming, they're not up yet, but maybe I'll have loved it, I don't know. I think I'm only actually there for like 2 or 3 days though, so.
But also, like in terms of a starting point, it's also right in the middle.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of an awkward starting point.
Yeah, because you go, okay, I want to go up to like Fraser Island and Whitsundays, but I also want to go down to Byron Bay in Sydney.
Yeah.
So it makes it really awkward, and so it wouldn't be like the best starting point.
Yeah, I would say that's like a midpoint, not a start point.
Yeah, and it might be somewhere where you go back to and go, oh, I want to live there because it is a really nice city to live in.
Yeah.
But it's probably not going to be like the best starting point if you're going like traveling solo. And then it kind of gets to like the big two. So we'll talk about Sydney.
Yeah.
So we have a map in front of us.
Yeah,
we're not just like pointing at a table.
We'll talk about Sydney though.
So Sydney is amazing. Like, so when I was back in England, like before I went traveling, if somebody said, "Can you picture Melbourne?" Australia. Can you picture Melbourne? I could not visualize it. If you say, can you visualize Sydney?
Of course.
Everybody pretty much can because everyone's seen Finding Nemo.
That's so true. Do you think Finding Nemo is what put Sydney on the map?
No. No, absolutely not. However, it didn't hurt things. Down 42 Wallaby Way.
That's true.
And it is so iconic. And it's got amazing beaches. You've got like Bondi to Coogee. There's a little walk which you do there. And you've got different national parks and it's good surfing. And it is iconic. And it is like a great place to start. The only, like, I would say like the only, well, there's 2 little negatives. It is like a little bit busy.
Yeah, I can
so
imagine
it's imagine going like to London underground rush hour and it's all happening.
Circus on a Friday at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, and it's a bit overwhelming. And if you come from a small town, all of a sudden you get like that anxiety of going, oh god, it's like a little bit overwhelming. And the other thing is, again, is just like geographical is
you
like,
are missing a little bit of the south.
Yeah, you want to be like, you miss out Melbourne, so you can go like Sydney all the way up to Cairns and fly back to Melbourne.
You could do that.
Which is fine, and people we know have done that before.
Yeah, my friend did that route.
To make it flow like a little bit easier, then I would obviously say like start in Melbourne.
I think Melbourne is the most sensible starting point, which is exactly why I started here, but obviously I am biased.
Yeah.
But I think like going back to the Sydney thing as well, it's just like easing you into it. So I didn't know what Melbourne was like at all until I stepped off the plane and got here. And then when I arrived, I was like, oh, this is quite calm for a city. It's similar to maybe going to like Manchester or Leeds if you want a UK comparison. I don't think the hustle and bustle like is as intense as what like Sydney will be, but then I think maybe now I'm ready for that because I've done a week here. So I would say Melbourne is like a good starting point.
Yeah, and Melbourne also has it like so many pros and cons. Like Melbourne is, as we said, like quite quirky, and there's so many like little hidden treasures
very
as well.
I would say it's like an edgy city.
Yeah, it's like the Shoreditch.
Very Shoreditch, so much like Shoreditch.
And then you've also got like the Mornington Peninsula, and you've got Phillip Island where you get to see all the penguins as well. And the only reason why I base myself in Melbourne, because I've travelled all around and I've lived like in Western Australia, I've lived in like a place called Ballarat, which no one knows of. I've lived in Sydney as well, I lived like in Bondi, I lived in Byron Bay as well.
Wow.
The only reason why I ended up living back in Melbourne is just because it suited me. But this is a thing, especially if you're coming over on a working holiday visa, if you like start off in Melbourne and then go up the East Coast, and then you would have travelled all these different destinations and you can go, you know what? This destination was the best one for me. Whereas if you like start off in Sydney and you miss out Melbourne, Melbourne may be like the perfect destination for you to like spend maybe 3 to 6 months on your working holiday visa as well. But it is now like a must-do destination.
Yeah, I would say that.
And sometimes, like as a negative, because I don't want to be going, oh, Melbourne's like the best place ever.
Yeah, there have been like some things that I'm like, oh.
Yeah, the weather.
The weather.
The weather. It's just mainly the weather. Like it's very up and down. It's like an elevator. It can be like sunny one minute and it can be rainy the next.
So the first day I got here, it was 30 degrees. I was like, amazing, it's like summer. And then by lunchtime it was 17.
Yeah.
17.
Right now it should be constant, but it should be, but it's not been at the moment because there's so much to do in the city. It kind of like counters that a little bit. In terms of like what route to go traveling like as a solo backpacker, and so many people land in Melbourne and Sydney. Those are like 2 massive points. Because if you start off in Melbourne, inevitably you're going to see Sydney anyway. And then you're going to go all the way up to like Cairns and see all those hotspots and have all these amazing experiences and see what city or town best
fits
like,
you.
best fits you.
Yeah.
Because we're all different, we're all individuals.
Yeah, that's so true. Some people might love the like beach vibes and the surfing vibes, some people might prefer the city. I think the East Coast has all of that, so as you travel up the coast, you can work it out. Obviously the route that I'm doing will probably become clear as the videos like go on, but that is exactly pretty much what I'm doing. I've landed in Melbourne and I'm flying back out of Cairns.
And like, the reason why I haven't spoken too much about like the outback as well for like a travel destination as well is just generally people tend to do like the East Coast first and then travel to like the outback as a secondary destination.
Yeah.
And so then after all that time, then they go back to the place which I particularly love. And also like there's the West Coast, there's Tasmania, there's so many bloody options.
There are a lot of parts of Australia that you can see.
You could spend a lifetime here, which it seems like what I seem to be doing.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents for what it's worth.
That is very, very informative, and I get questions all the time about like how did you plan it and where did you go and like what are you doing. So I think that is really helpful. So if you're thinking of coming to Australia, definitely like think about some of those things, because it does just depend on what you want from your experience. But like I would say the route that I'm doing is probably one of the most common. Maybe people start in Sydney and do the exact same route up the coast missing Melbourne, but I'm saying like I feel like you shouldn't do that because Melbourne's been really, really good. Like I've had, not that I wasn't expecting to have a good week, but I've just had like a way better week than what I expected, and I think that
oh, that's good.
that makes it sound like I wasn't expecting to have a good time, but just as in like I thought I was going to be really homesick, and I thought that I was going to probably like this week will be the hardest to get used to, but it hasn't been like that at all. The city has been so welcoming, so easy to navigate, and all the friends I've made have been like amazing here, so Melbourne's getting a tick. So the second thing that I get asked all the time is about solo traveling, or like who I'm going with, or why I'm not going with anybody, and if it's safe to do something like this on my own as a young 20-year-old girl. And I obviously thought that it was because I booked the trip, but honestly it didn't really even cross my mind, because I have had so many people that I knew in my life, like back at home, or like other YouTubers that I watched that have done pretty much this exact route, that I was like, I feel like this is one of the safest countries to do something like this, especially for a first time experience. However, I do get that a lot of people were really concerned, and like it's a lot of people like it would be really out of their comfort zone, which is quite out of my comfort zone. I'm still kind of sitting here thinking, what am I doing? This is not very me. But so far, so good, and I feel like it's been fine. But you came out here in a pair, didn't you?
Yeah, I came out as a pair, and I have never been a 20-year-old female as well, solo traveller.
Yeah.
This is just coming from like what I've seen like when people have been travelling. Like when you're going travelling, like especially solo travelling, like one of the biggest things is like you want to meet people.
For sure.
You never want to be like ostracised, and like you want to be part of a group.
For sure.
And because that makes you feel safer straight away.
Yeah.
And so when we're going back onto the route, so like Melbourne and Sydney are going to have like solo travellers just like yourself in like most first destinations. Seeing how you can make friends straight away.
Yeah.
And because then you're part of a group and not just like by yourself. The big thing is safety.
For sure.
Like Melbourne got voted the most livable city for like 7 years in a row.
Yeah, I've heard that start a couple of times this week actually.
It's not Vienna, but don't worry about that. But one time I got asked, oh, what does the world's most livable city actually mean? I was like, oh, great question. I didn't actually know, so I googled it. But like, there's a few different aspects, but one of them is safety. It is a very safe city to be in, and that is pretty much like replicated all the way throughout like the East Coast. And for you, is it safe to go travelling in Australia? Absolutely.
I really think so. Like I think that I wouldn't have done it if I didn't feel like it was. And I think that there's been so much support and help once I got here as well.
Would you agree?
He's agreeing. He's like, yes. Very safe.
Abby, come here.
Because he brought a twig in. Distracted by the dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, basically, once I got here, I definitely felt like there was a lot of support, and like, I don't know, it just felt welcoming. And I think that was the tour, to be honest. Like, I joined Welcome to Travel, like the tour that I did for the first week that I was here, straight away. So I met the people that were doing that tour, and that instantly made me feel like I had like friends here, even within the first day, which was so bizarre because I thought it might take a little bit of time to like settle in or to like meet people. But because the hostel environment is so like community, like you have to spend time with other people because you're in their room, you're in their kitchen, like you really get to know them quickly. I didn't feel unsafe or like out of my depth at all.
Yeah, that's a big thing. And like we also spoke before you arrived as well.
Yes, we did. We'd spoke on the phone like twice or once, I don't know.
Yeah, and we were like, oh, it's a Yorkshireman.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well that was
that's what you said to your mum, didn't you?
Yeah. She was like, are you sure you're gonna be okay? And I was like, the first person I meet when I'm there is from Scarborough, and she was like, oh, okay, that's fine then. And I was like, exactly.
What's he doing?
Yeah, literally, she's like, why is he living in Melbourne then? And I was like, a good question. But now I've been here for a week, I can see why you would want to live in Melbourne, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, no, I do think like, if you could talk to people that you either know are gonna be on your tour, or like that you could maybe meet up with when you're out there before you get there, that definitely reassures you. Like, I was really, really reassured by the fact that we had like a WhatsApp chat. The tour that I just did, Welcome to Travel, I keep plugging it. You should be plugging it, sure.
No, but like, it's not for me. Like,
true, yeah. Set up like a WhatsApp group before you actually like get here, so I think it was like a week before, was it? Or like a couple of days before. And there was like all 22 of us, which seems like a lot, in this WhatsApp chat, and we just were able to like get to know each other. And then when we arrived, we were able to be like, oh, whereabouts are you? Like, we should meet up. And that like really, really helped, because then it meant by the time the tour started on the Sunday or the Monday.
Yeah, Sunday's the arrival day and then Monday.
Yeah. We'd all already met like twice, which was great. Are you okay? So yeah, I definitely think there are things that you can do if you are traveling solo to make it feel like you're not, almost. So like, I knew, okay, it's a hell of a journey to get here, but once I arrive, I'm not really going to be on my own at all.
I was just thinking as you were saying that, like what we could do actually for your subscribers is, if they do have any questions, even if they're not wanting to do like the tour or anything like that, if you email experience@welcome2.travel,
I'll put it on screen and below.
And then I'll get either myself or like one of the team, like just some, if you've got like some like simple questions, ask them there and we'll answer them, just to make sure like you're making the right decision, because it is such a big decision to come traveling. Or if you slide into like the DMs at welcome2.travel, we're always on it and we're like quite responsive on it. And we just want you to like have the best possible time going traveling, because I personally feel like travel is the best form of education, and you get to meet so many people like from around the world.
Honestly, the amount of stories we've told this week just from knowing each other for literally 6 days, like people have such interesting backgrounds and such interesting life stories, and if you don't meet people like that, then you're not like broadening your horizon a little bit. I think that this week's really opened my eyes to like, you can be friends with the most unlikely people that have had such different lives to you, but because you're traveling and because you're doing the same thing, you're instantly like pushed together, and it's just actually a really, really good experience.
And don't you like it?
I
always get nervous when people are on it. I'm like,
no, honestly, if I hadn't have enjoyed it, if I'd have been like upset or whatever, you would have definitely known, because I'm the first to complain on Instagram. That hasn't happened yet, so it's been really, really good. I think if you guys are looking to travel Australia or come to Australia at all, these guys are a really, really good start point. Like, they know what they're talking about, they know what they're doing, and you've been here for what, 10 years, so you've got a lot of experience. Which
it just means I'm old. You should subscribe here at Beauty Spectrum.
Thanks for that.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Comment below. What is your favourite part?
Yeah. Or if you've got any questions for me, more so, comment them down below.
Or Harvey.
Or the dog. Yeah. I don't think he'll be able to answer, but if you just love the pug, then yeah. But we're gonna finish this video here. Basically, there'll be a lot more Australia content coming on my channel. I think the Melbourne videos will have already gone up before this, but there will be some more. I'm actually heading to Sydney tomorrow, so that will be like the next kind of thing. So stay tuned for that, and I shall be back very, very soon. Bye.